The world is not broken. It is working exactly as it was designed. If you are exhausted, if you are working until your eyes burn and your spirit fractures, and yet you are standing in the exact same economic spot you were in 3 years ago, you are not the victim of a glitch. You are the victim of a law so cold, so absolute, and so invisible that 99% of the population lives and dies without ever seeing it. They believe the lie. The great, comforting, sedating lie that has been whispered into your ear since you were old enough to sit in a classroom. The lie that says, if you work hard, you will be rewarded. If you are good, you will be safe. If you follow the rules, the system will take care of you. Look around you. Look at the tired faces on the subway. Look at the brilliant men and women drowning in debt. Look at the people who have done everything right and are still one emergency away from ruin. Does the system look like it rewards virtue? Does money look like it follows sweat? No. Money does not follow effort. It does not follow goodness. It does not follow talent. Money follows position. This is the Machiavellian law of position. And it is the only reason the rich get richer while you simply get tired. The rich do not work harder than you. In fact, many of them work far less. They do not possess a divine spark of intelligence that you lack. They simply occupy a different coordinate in the geometry of power. They are standing upstream. You are standing downstream. And in a universe governed by gravity, no amount of swimming, no amount of praying, and no amount of hustle can force the river to flow backward. Most people spend their entire lives fighting physics. They cup their hands at the bottom of the waterfall, hoping to catch enough water to survive, wondering why the flow is so violent, why it crushes them. They never look up. They never see that the person at the top has simply built a dam. That person is not cupping their hands. They are directing the flow. They are not working against the water. They have positioned themselves so that the water works for them. If you want to change your financial reality, you do not need more discipline. You do not need to wake up at 4 a.m. You do not need to grind until you break. You need to stop moving. You need to look at the map, and you need to understand that you are fighting a war from the bottom of a hill against an enemy who owns the high ground. Today, we are going to dismantle the illusion of meritocracy. We are going to perform an autopsy on the concept of hard work, and we are going to look at the world through the eyes of Niccolò Machiavelli, not as a moralist, but as an architect. I am going to show you why you are stuck, not to hurt you, but because the only way to escape a prison is to see the bars. To understand why you are losing, you must understand the difference between creation and capture. This is the fundamental disconnect that keeps the brilliant poor. Society teaches you to be a creator. You are taught to build skills, to create value, to be useful, be the best engineer, be the best writer, be the best doctor, be the best employee. We idolize creation. We worship the value add. But the economic machine does not reward creation. It rewards capture. Creation is the act of generating energy. Capture is the act of harnessing it. Think of a hydroelectric dam. The water in the river is the energy. It is the raw talent, the labor, the movement of the masses. The water creates the force. But the water does not get paid. The dam gets paid. The dam sits still. It is immovable. It is heavy. It does not work in the sense that the water works. It simply is. It occupies a strategic choke point where the water has no choice but to pass through it. By virtue of its position, the dam captures the value generated by the river. You are the river. You are the force. You are the one rushing, moving, eroding yourself against the rocks, generating the power that lights up the cities. But because you do not own the choke point, you do not capture the value. You merely pass through the system, leaving your energy behind. This is why the rich get richer. They are not the water. They are the dam. They focus 100% of their energy on acquiring and holding strategic positions where value must flow. Once they have the position, the accumulation of wealth is automatic. It is structural. It requires no new decision-making. It requires no fresh burst of willpower. This is what Machiavelli meant when he discussed the concept of the state. The state is a structure that survives the ruler. A king may die, but if the throne is positioned correctly, the kingdom remains. The power is in the chair, not the man. If you put a mediocre man in a high-leverage position, he will generate wealth. If you put a genius in a low-leverage position, he will generate wages. Consider the layout of a modern corporation. It is a pyramid of value capture. At the bottom, you have the technician. The technician knows how to do the thing. He writes the code. He fixes the engine. He performs the surgery. He is the creator. His position is execution. His leverage is 1-to-1. If he stops working, his income stops. He is the water. Above him is the manager. The manager does not know how to write the code as well as the technician, but he sits in a position of coordination. He leverages the time of 10 technicians. His leverage is 1-to-10. Above him is the executive. The executive may not know how to do the job at all, but he occupies the position of strategy. He decides where the river flows. His leverage is 1-to-1,000, and above them all is the owner, the shareholder, the capitalist. He does not execute, he does not coordinate, he does not even strategize. He owns. His position is equity. His leverage is infinite. He can be in a coma and his net worth will increase. Why? Because he owns the structure that captures the work of the executive, the manager, and the technician. The rich get richer is not a conspiracy. It is a mechanical inevitability of this structure. The output of the thousands at the bottom funnels upward, concentrating at the top. It is an inverted funnel. Gravity works against the many and in favor of the few. If you are angry about this, you are wasting energy. Gravity does not care about your anger. You cannot guilt the river into flowing uphill. You have only 2 choices: remains the water and pray for a rainy season, or become the dam. Machiavelli wrote extensively about 2 opposing forces: virtù, skill/strength, and fortuna, luck/circumstance. Modern society has convinced you that virtù is everything. We tell children, get good grades, master a skill, become undeniable. We sell the fantasy that if you are skilled enough, the world will bend the knee. This is the skill trap. You see it everywhere. The brilliant artist who is starving, the genius programmer who is underpaid, the hard-working nurse who can barely pay rent. They have immense virtù. They have skill. They have character. But Machiavelli whispered the dark truth 500 years ago. Virtù without occasione, the occasion/position, is wasted. Talent is meaningless in a vacuum. A master swordsman is useless if he is standing in a room where the battle is decided by gunpowder. A brilliant orator is silent if he is standing in a room with no audience. The rich do not obsess over skill. They obsess over the occasion. They obsess over placing themselves on the terrain where their smallest actions have massive consequences. They understand that position multiplies skill. Let's do the math of your life. Outcome equals skill plus effort times position. If your position is 0 or near 0, it doesn't matter if your skill and effort are 100. 100 plus 100 times 0 equals 0. This is the tragedy of the working class. They are maxing out the variables in the brackets. They are increasing their skill. They are doubling their effort. They are burning out, but they are multiplying it by a structural 0. They are digging a hole in the middle of the desert, hoping to find water simply because they are good diggers. The rich man finds the spring first. He may be a terrible digger. He may use a rusty shovel. He may work for only 10 minutes. But because his position is right, because he is standing on the water, he wins. 10 plus 10 times 1,000 equals 20,000. This drives the moralist insane. It's not fair, they scream. He's lazy. He's stupid. He doesn't deserve it. But the market is not a moral judge. The market is a mechanism. It does not ask who worked harder. It asks, where is the value being captured? And here is the hardest pill to swallow. The system punishes you for your reliance on skill. Why? Because skill is difficult to scale. It is tied to your time. It is tied to your physical body. If you are the best surgeon in the world, you can still only save one patient at a time. Your position is limited by biology. The owner of the hospital, however, does not need to cut. He needs to position the hospital in a wealthy district, negotiate contracts with insurance companies, and hire you. His position is scalable. Yours is not. As long as you pride yourself solely on your hard work, you are locking yourself into a cage. You are wearing your exhaustion like a badge of honor. I worked 80 hours this week. To the Machiavellian, that is not a boast. That is a confession of strategic failure. It means you had to use 80 units of energy to achieve a result that someone in a better position achieved with a phone call. It means you are inefficient. It means you are fighting gravity. Stop being proud of your suffering. Suffering is not a currency. The bank does not accept your sweat. Let's go deeper into the psychology that keeps you downstream. Why do most people refuse to move? Why do they cling to low-leverage positions even when they see the math? Because the bottom is crowded, and crowds feel safe. There is a psychological comfort in being part of the struggle. When you are a worker, you have camaraderie. You have a shared enemy, the boss, the system, the government. You have a script. You know what you are supposed to do. Show up, do the work, go home, complain. Moving upstream requires you to step into the void. To change your position, you must leave the herd. You must step away from the comforting narrative of fairness. You must accept that the world is cold, architectural, and indifferent. Most people would rather be poor and morally superior than wealthy and structurally responsible. They love the narrative of the underdog. We love movies where the scrappy poor kid beats the rich system through heart and grit. We love it because it validates our delusion. It tells us that our position doesn't matter, only our spirit does. But in the real world, the underdog usually loses. In the real world, Goliath squashes David 99 times out of 100 because Goliath has reach, armor, and mass. The rich do not play the underdog. They play the house. They understand that wealth is not a battle, it is a siege. You do not run out and fight, you build walls. You control the supply lines. You wait. This requires a fundamental shift in how you view yourself. You must stop viewing yourself as a worker and start viewing yourself as an asset allocator. Even if you have no money, you have time, you have attention, you have energy. These are your assets. Most people allocate these assets into labor. They sell them wholesale. The outlier allocates them into leverage. They spend their time building things that work for them. They spend their energy securing relationships, which are just access to other people's positions. They spend their attention finding the cracks in the system where value is leaking, so they can place a bucket underneath. This is the concept of strategic laziness. Bill Gates did not write every line of code for Windows. He positioned himself between IBM and the operating system. He captured the license. He owned the toll booth. Rockefeller did not drill all the oil. He bought the refineries. He realized that the drillers were the risk-takers, the gamblers. They could hit a dry well and go broke, but if they struck oil, they had to refine it. He positioned himself at the bottleneck. He controlled the flow. This is the secret. Find the bottleneck. In every industry, in every market, in every career path, there is a bottleneck. There is a specific point where the flow of value is constricted. In the gold rush, the bottleneck was not the gold, it was the shovels. In the internet age, the bottleneck was not the content, it was the search engine, Google. In the influencer economy, the bottleneck is not the talent, it is the algorithm, attention. If you are the content creator, you are the water. If you are the platform, you are the dam. Ask yourself right now, where do I stand in relation to the bottleneck of my industry? Am I the one trying to squeeze through the hole, or am I the one standing at the gate charging a toll? If you are trying to squeeze through, you will always be tired. You will always be competing, because everyone is trying to squeeze through. The law of position states, competition is for those who cannot build a monopoly, and monopolies are born from position. So, why haven't you moved? It is not just because you didn't know, it is because the system has placed 3 invisible tripwires to keep you stationary. These are the psychological traps that ensure the rich get richer and the poor stay busy. 1. The sunk cost of identity. You have spent years building an identity around your suffering. You call yourself a grinder. You pride yourself on your endurance. To move positions, you have to kill that version of yourself. You have to admit that your hard work was, in many ways, a mistake, a misallocation of energy. The ego hates this. The ego would rather be right and poor than wrong and rich. You cling to your degree because you spent 4 years getting it, even if the degree is leading you to a dead-end position. You cling to your industry because it's what I know, even if the industry is dying. The rich have no loyalty to their past. They have loyalty only to the future. If a position is no longer advantageous, they abandon it. They are fluid. They are mercenaries of value. 2. The salary addiction. A salary is the most effective drug ever created. It is a bribe. The system pays you just enough to kill your ambition, but not enough to buy your freedom. It provides a steady, predictable drip of dopamine. 2 weeks, paycheck. 2 weeks, paycheck. This rhythm hypnotizes you. It makes you fear the irregularity of ownership. Wealth is lumpy. It does not come in smooth bi-weekly increments. It comes in droughts, and then it comes in floods. To change positions, you must be willing to endure the drought to build the dam for the flood. But the salary addict cannot handle the withdrawal. They need the hit, so they stay in the position of the employee, trading their infinite potential for a finite drip. 3. The illusion of risk. You are told that moving upstream is risky. Starting a business is risky. Investing is risky. Negotiating for equity is risky. So you stay in the safe position. But look at the reality. Who is more at risk? The person who owns the stream, or the person who drinks from it? If the stream dries up, the owner moves to a new stream. He has the map. He understands the terrain. The drinker dies of thirst. Employment is the riskiest position of all because you have a single point of failure. One boss, one company, one industry. If that connection is severed, you have zero leverage. The rich get richer because they are diversified. They occupy multiple positions. They have multiple dams on multiple rivers. They have redefined safety not as stability, but as control. You think safety is a steady paycheck. They know safety is owning the checkbook. So, how do we begin the migration? How do we move from the downstream struggle to the upstream capture? We must stop thinking in terms of career ladders. Ladders are for climbing. We are not climbing. We are traversing. We are moving laterally from high effort/low leverage zones to low effort/high leverage zones. This requires a new map. A map of the hierarchy of leverage. Most people think the hierarchy is intern, junior, senior manager, VP, CEO. That is the hierarchy of the farm. It is just different levels of livestock. The VP is just a cow with a shinier bell than the intern. He is still on the farm. He is still being milked for his time. The real hierarchy, the hierarchy of wealth, is invisible to the corporate ladder. Level 1. The laborer, the time seller. You sell time. You have zero leverage. You are paid only when you bleed. Level 2. The merchant, the transaction maker. You sell products or outcomes. You have slight leverage. You can sell while you sleep, but you still have to source, ship, and service. Level 3. The architect, the system owner. You own the code, the media, the patent, or the process. The product replicates itself. Your leverage is detached from your marginal cost. Level 4. The capitalist, the resource allocator. You move money to where it breeds. You do not touch the product. You do not touch the customer. You touch the structure. The goal of your life must be to migrate up this hierarchy. And here is the brutal truth. You cannot work your way from level 1 to level 4. You cannot labor so hard that you become a capitalist. You have to jump. You have to change the nature of your income, not the amount. A doctor earning $500,000 a year at level 1 is still poorer than a software owner earning $100,000 a year at level 3. Why? Because the doctor is trapped. His income is a golden handcuff. He has to keep cutting to keep eating. The software owner is free. His income is a seed. He has time to think, to plan, to move to level 4. The rich get richer because they play the game of time. They buy back their time immediately. They use their first wealth to purchase their freedom, and then they use their freedom to purchase more wealth. You use your wealth to purchase comfort. You buy a better car to drive to the job that enslaves you. You buy a bigger house to sleep in between shifts at the factory of your soul. You are using your money to make your cage more comfortable. They are using their money to buy the key. This is the fundamental difference in position. The consumer versus the owner. How do you move from the bottom of the pyramid to the top? How do you shift from the one who pushes the boulder to the one who owns the mountain? You do not ask for permission. You do not wait for a promotion. Promotions are the crumbs the system feeds you to keep you from baking your own bread. You must utilize the vacuum strategy. Machiavelli understood that power is not given, it is filled. Power flows like water into empty spaces. If you want to capture value, you must find a void in the system. A problem that is burning, a need that is screaming, a question that has no answer. And you must position yourself as the only thing that fills that void. Most people try to compete in crowded spaces. They see everyone starting a podcast, so they start a podcast. They see everyone learning coding, so they learn coding. They are mimicking. They are adding noise to noise. The rich do the opposite. They look for the silence. They ask, what is the one thing that the powerful people in this industry are terrified of? What is the bottleneck that is costing them millions? When you identify that void, you do not politely offer to help. You position yourself in the center of it. If a company is bleeding because they cannot retain clients, you do not apply for a job in customer success. You build a system that automates retention, and you sell the result, not your time. You become the cork in the hole of the sinking ship. When you are the cork, you dictate the price. The captain does not negotiate with the cork. He pays whatever it costs to stop the drowning. This is the essence of position. It is about leverage through necessity. If you are nice to have, you are poor. If you are necessary for survival, you are rich. Look at your current role. If you disappeared tomorrow, would the organization collapse? Or would they just be annoyed for 2 weeks while they hired a replacement? If you are replaceable, your position is weak. And because your position is weak, your income will always be capped by the market rate of your replacement. To get rich, you must become a structural necessity. You must wrap your hands around the cables that keep the lights on. You must own the relationship, the data, the process, or the access that no one else has. Create a vacuum that only you can fill, and then wait. Let the panic of the market drive the value to you. If you cannot own the asset, if you cannot build the dam yet, then you must execute the gatekeeper protocol. This is the fastest way for the have-nots to become the haves. In every system, there are 2 types of power players, the owners and the gatekeepers. The owner holds the gold. The gatekeeper holds the key to the vault. You may not have the capital to be the owner yet, but you can position yourself as the gatekeeper. You can become the bridge between the problem and the solution. Real estate agents are gatekeepers. Investment bankers are gatekeepers. Talent agents are gatekeepers. They produce nothing. They create nothing. They simply stand between the buyer and the seller and demand a toll for passing through. This offends the purist. The purist says, they are parasites. They add no value. The Machiavellian laughs. He knows that access is value. In a world of noise, the person who curates access is king. If you know the 3 people that a billionaire needs to meet, you are effectively a billionaire by proximity. If you control the newsletter that 10,000 buyers read, you control the sales of every product in that niche. You do not need to build the product, you just need to own the audience. Stop trying to be the genius inventor. Be the person who introduces the inventor to the investor. Be the person who connects the audience to the offer. Position yourself at the intersection. Picture a busy intersection in a city. You don't need to build the cars. You don't need to pave the roads. You just need to be the guy who puts up the billboard. The traffic is already there. The energy is already flowing. You are just capturing a slice of it by standing in the right place. This requires you to shift your focus from how do I work harder to who do I know and where is the attention flowing. Attention is the oil of the 21st century. Whoever controls the flow of attention controls the flow of money. If you are writing code in a basement, you are labor. If you are deciding which code gets featured on the App Store, you are a gatekeeper. Always seek the gate. The final barrier you must break is your understanding of risk. The poor are terrified of losing what little they have. The rich are terrified of missing out on what they could have. This difference in psychology creates a difference in position. The poor cling to the shoreline. They view the ocean as a threat. What if a storm comes? What if I drown? So they stay on the sand fighting for scraps. The rich build the ship. They view the ocean as a highway. To change your position, you must invert your relationship with risk. You must realize that staying still is the most dangerous move on the board. In a rapidly changing economy, the safe job is a ticking time bomb. Automation, AI, and globalization are eroding the bottom of the pyramid. The water is rising. If you stay downstream, you will drown. The only safety is in elevation. You must be willing to risk your current comfort to purchase your future leverage. This might mean quitting the job that pays you well but teaches you nothing. It might mean investing your savings into a business instead of a car. It might mean looking like a fool for 2 years while you build something that doesn't pay you yet. Machiavelli wrote, "It is better to be impetuous than cautious, for fortune is a woman, and if you wish to keep her under it, is necessary to beat and ill-use her." He meant that the world yields to aggression. It yields to those who move with conviction. The universe hates hesitation. It punishes the timid. If you are waiting for a guarantee, you will wait until you are dead. There are no guarantees in the law of position. There are only probabilities. And the probability of getting rich while trading time for money is 0. The probability of getting rich by owning equity, by controlling leverage, by positioning yourself upstream. It is not 100%, but it is the only game where the math works. You have to place a bet. You have to bet on yourself, not on your ability to work hard. Everyone can do that. You have to bet on your ability to see the map, to spot the high ground, and to take it before someone else does. When you finally shift your position, something strange happens. You stop being tired. The chronic exhaustion that has plagued you for years, the feeling of pushing a car uphill, vanishes. Suddenly, you are driving the car. You are still working, maybe even working long hours, but the friction is gone because now your effort is compounding. Every hour you work builds a system that will work for you tomorrow. You are no longer renting your life, you are building equity in it. The bitterness dissolves. You stop looking at the rich with envy and start looking at them with understanding. You see the game for what it is. It is not personal, it is just mechanics. You realize that you were never not good enough. You were just standing in the wrong place. It is like finding the light switch in a dark room. You spent years stumbling, bruising your shins, cursing the darkness. You thought you were clumsy. You thought you were blind, but you were just in the dark. Position is the light switch. Flip it. Move from labor to leverage. Move from downstream to upstream. Move from competing to dominating. Machiavelli's final lesson to the prince was this: do not be hated. But in the modern world, the lesson is, do not be ignored. Poverty is the state of being ignored by the market. Wealth is the state of being essential to it. Your task, starting today, is to audit your life with cold, surgical detachment. Look at your income source. Is it leverageable? Look at your daily tasks. Are you building a dam or carrying water? Look at your industry. Where is the bottleneck? If you cannot answer these questions, you are the prey. The predator knows exactly where he stands. The predator knows the terrain better than the prey. You must become the predator of your own destiny. You must hunt for the high ground, because the water is rising, and only those with position will float. But once you have the position, once you have the money, a new danger emerges. A danger far more subtle and far more destructive than poverty. Most people think getting rich ends the war. They are wrong. Wealth just changes the battlefield. Once you have the crown, everyone wants to take it. The wolves do not stop coming, they just change their clothes. They come as friends, they come as lovers, they come as partners. How do you protect the fortress once you have built it? How do you spot the traitor who is already inside the walls? That is the art of Machiavellian defense, and it is a game of shadows that few survive. We will discuss that next time. If this opened your eyes, understand this is only what I can show publicly. There are videos I cannot upload for everyone. There are aspects of dark psychology that I simply cannot discuss publicly on YouTube without being censored or demonetized. The algorithm suppresses the most powerful information. Those exist behind the join button. If you're still here, you're not like the others. Subscribe if you haven't. But if you want what's hidden, click the join button and step into the architect level. You will unlock exclusive, uncensored videos that dive into the deepest parts of the human psyche. Most won't. That's the point.